What's up, y'all? This is Iskosi Umfundisi back at it once again. And we're going to look at this article comes from Infiltrata, which talks about the U.S.-Israel lobby. Now, I think we need to look deep into this. I heard about it earlier this week, so I decided to look more into it. And this is the stuff I found out about it. As I said, this is from the Electronic Infiltrata, 6th of November of 2018. The first part of the censored documentary series, The Lobby, U.S. released by Electronic Intifada this week. Al Jazeera's undercover reporter, Tony, turned his way into pro-Israel circles. He discovered a network of organizations acted as fronts for the Israel state to spy on, disrupt, and sabotage U.S. supporters of Palestinian rights, especially BDS, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions movement. In the final two parts of the film, Tony gets a deeper look at Israel influence campaigns during his internship at Project for the Israel Project. The Electronic Infiltrata is releasing a leaked film simultaneous with France Orient 21 and Lebanon Al Akbar, which was respectively subtitled episodes in French and Arabic. The three-part Al Jazeera interview Bill Mullen, a professor of American Studies at Purdue University in Indiana and leading activist in the BDS movement. As Electronic Intifada reported in 2016, Mullen and his family found themselves targeted by an organized smear campaign starting in March of that year. Several anonymous websites sprang up containing fabricated accounts of sexual harassment by Mulligan and supposedly by a student. In the film, Mulligan describes the campaign as an attempt to destroy his marriage. His wife, also a professor, was also sent a link to one of the sites. The smear campaign seems to be manufactured by Israel agents in the U.S. These people will do anything. On one anonymous account, it explains that the process of supposedly putting our hands on her. I invited her to a Palestinian organization meeting, and I thought you're sort of putting your cards out there on the table, Mulligan says, explaining how he came to realize that the pro-Israel actors were behind the smears. Mulligan recounts how anonymous websites are using the name of his daughter, also used the name of his daughter, which says was the worst moment for him when he realized these people will do anything and they are capable to do anything. The Students for Justice in Palestine activists who Mullen worked with speak anonymously in an interview with Al Jazeera. She too was targeted by an anonymous smear site, which falsely claimed she engaged in partying, drinking, and promiscuity. She recounts how this led to tension and upset at her home, with her parents telling her to end her SPJ involvement. The smear tactics have often been common for features of advocacy for Israel for decades. Israel lobbyists know they cannot win in an open debate on actual issues. Such attempts to target, sabotage activists' personal lives represent an escalation of tactics in recent years led by Israel Minister of Strategic Affairs. Their tactics are more reminiscent of Israel intelligence services actions against Palestinian resistance organizations in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, with usage of blackmail, disinformation, rumors, and sabotage. This is not entirely surprising, considering the Ministry of Strategic Affairs is largely staffed by Israel spies. It is psychological warfare. The undercover footage seen in episode 1, the Israel-owned campus coalition, Jacob Bamey, admitted into a coordinating with the Israeli ministry. He described his approach as modeled on General Stanley McChrystal's counterinsurgency strategy in Iraq, explaining they copied a lot from that strategy and it actually been working real well for us. Although Bamey seems confused about the country, the U.S. general counterinsurgency effort was focused on Afghanistan, not Iraq. McChrystal's strategy emphasized offensive information operations. In episode 3, Bamey explains how his organization applies this against anti-Israel people by putting some anonymous website along with targeted Facebook ads. Bamey explained that as a result of the activists either shut down or they spend time responding to it and investigating it, which is the time they can spend attacking Israel. It's psychological warfare. It drives them crazy, he claims. He later stated that the Israel on-campus coalition has a budget of some $2 million for research for such smear campaigns alone. As previously reported by the Electronic Infiltrata, episode 3 also names convicted tax evader and multimillionaire Israel lobbyist financier Adam Milstein as the founder of a secret blacklisting site called Canary Mission. It also reveals the Foundation for Defense of Democracies as another agent of Israel Ministry of Strategic Affairs. The foundation's Jonathan Snatcher and undercover footage that anti-Semitism is as a smear is not to be used. The foundation that AIPAC is set on is rotting. Episode 4 reveals how Israel is working against the Black Lives Matter movement. Israel Consul General in Atlanta is seen in undercover footage complaining that a major problem for Israel is a young generation of the black community. The Israel Project successfully attempts to influence American mainstream media are also detailed, with former CNN journalist Jim Canty describing it as propaganda. Also in episode 4, Tony goes in along for a ride with a comical and unenthusiastic group of young conservative think tank fellows who are compelled by their bosses to join in a protest against Students for Justice in Palestine conference. Max Blumenthal at Gray Zone Project previously released clips from these scenes, but all the footage can be now viewed on this page. In the undercover footage, the fellows admit to Tony that what they're doing is astroturfing, a term for fake grassroots activism orchestrated or paid for by interest group. This feed into the film ultimately to the conclusion in the words of Eric Gallagher, Tony boss at the Israel Project. Gallagher describes how the bipartisan consensus in the support of Israel has seriously fractured in recent years, where polls consistently show a slide of progressive and liberal support for Israel. Gallagher admits that the fortunes of AIPAC, Washington's most powerful Israel lobby, and its former employer are not what they once were. The foundation that AIPAC sat on is rotten, he laments. There used to be actual widespread support for Israel in the United States, so I don't think that AIPAC is going to remain influential as it is. He adds, I don't think that AIPAC is at the tip of the spear anymore, which is worrisome because who is? Now, what this got to do with us, as a black people here in the United States, is how they was working against Black Lives Matter. And I told you before how they worked before in, we haven't got to that yet, but in Church Commission, they did the same stuff where they set up another Black Lives Matter group and took with the media influence, put all that media influence on that group. Steve Coakley, Baba, the Honorable Steve Coakley, Baba Steve Coakley, he told us about this and this is how they work. When we look back at his stuff, he said, go back to the Leo Franks case. Look at the Leo Franks case. That's when they started setting up all these organizations to protect themselves like that. Because in the Leo Franks case, if you study that case, a black man convicted a Jewish man off his word and testimony. So they got scared and they hurried and started making up organizations to protect themselves. So, and they also made up black organizations, and put their influences on that, like the NAACP, the National Urban League, and also they got mad control of the Congressional Black Caucus. That's what they rolling with Nancy Pelosi. Anyway, this is Iskosi Umfundisi, and we should look at that. Look at the grassroots organization. We should pay attention to what what our ancestor Malcolm X said and our ancestor Steve Coakley said. Malcolm X said, let me see who funds you. Let me see who gives you the money, and I'll tell you what you're about. And we got to start looking for that. Anyway, man, thanks to my ancestors, Steve Coakley, Malcolm X. And thanks to y'all for watching this video, and supporting the channel. Hey, y'all have a good one. Peace.